Ticket to Ride. Oh boy, that's a loaded one. It can be any part of your life's journey, right? And my biggest life journey is right now. 1 month from today, my husband tragically passed away. And for the first, probably up until a few days ago, I couldn't remember him. I couldn't feel him around me. I couldn't feel our stories that we had over the last 10 years. And that's been really hard. But I want this to be happy for everybody. So one of the stories that came to me while I was sitting here, and I was like, oh, I guess I'll jump up and do this. Why not? Give it a shot. Fondest journey that I have, we went to Key West for his 30th birthday several years ago, and amazing trip, beautiful, I recommend it. And of course, you know, we're young, we're in love, and starting everything out with Bloody Marys in the morning for breakfast, margaritas on tap for lunch, moving on, good time. We flew into Miami, got a rental car, and drove down to Isla Mirada. And that is probably my most favorite part of the Keys. We stayed in this little turtle bungalow area. I think there was max like 3 other couples that could stay there, and everyone had their own little hut. Someone was sleeping on a sailboat. It just felt like you were in a tropical other country, but you weren't. And the guy that was there, I think his name was Kevin, and then there was Dana, and they knew everything there was to know about the sea life and the area. And they took us out on the sailboat with the sunsets, and we're like, oh, this is so awesome. And the next day, we decide to take out the ocean kayaks. We're like, we're gonna do this. And it was a tandem one. So I'm sitting in the front, he's sitting in the back to cooler. We're just gonna spend the day moseying around the mangrove islands, and there's iguanas everywhere, falling. I don't know if anyone's ever seen an iguana fall from a tree. It's really mesmerizing and also kind of creepy. They're just dropping, swimming around, all over the place. We're having a good time. We go out, go around another island, we're working our way back. What happens? My kayak oar breaks in half. I was like, well, honey, guess what? You're on your own. Cracked a beer, and I just sat back. He's like, of course. So he paddled us the whole ways back in, but right after that happened, we had a stingray go underneath the ocean kayak, and I was like, okay, let's hope that today is not the day. But we made it back in, and it's just a really entertaining story for me, and I found the pictures the other day from it, because I took a selfie, of course, right after I broke the oar, and thought it was like a momentous occasion that he had to paddle me back in, which of course he did. And the Keys continued. Our trip continued down to the rest of Key West, and we did all of the fun spots and met some really interesting people. 90% of them were from Pennsylvania. So we're like, oh, you're from York, you're from Hanover, you're from Mechanicsburg. Hi, everyone. So, you know, getting away, you're also meeting everybody from your hometown again, which is a really great thing to happen. And then we went to come back. Now, my husband, disclosure statement, was about 6'7". So I'm at nipple biting height. That's what I referred to it as. So keep him in line. And we had to take a puddle jumper. Has anyone been in a puddle jumper before? Very small, tiny plane. Very tall man. Do not fit together. So he's in the seat, and his knees are literally up to his chin, and he's sitting there like this. He's like, never again. We finally get up to Miami Airport to get onto our next flight. We thought we had 2 hours in between. We're running off the plane, and they're calling for our next one to start loading. Running across Miami Airport, which, if you've been in Miami Airport, is kind of a mess, very stressful to navigate. Got through there. Someone else was running behind us. They threw their bag down, and we all got on just in time. Make it home. And then once we're trying to unload, somebody in the back, significantly shorter than me, thought that it was a good idea to walk on the armrest down the aisle to get out. So that was the first time that I've ever experienced that in a plane. And it was with him. So that is a story that we have, and I'm happy that it came back to me today. And I have a long road, a long ticket to ride ahead of me. So